Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vessel.
I'm Joey Evans.
And today we're taking a look at Run!
They're coming!
This is from Tim Fowers Games, or Fowers Games, and it is a two-player game that is it has this spy, one person's running from the other. Now, this is not the first game that they have done in this regard.
No, Fugitive.
They did Fugitive, which is a card game. This is more of a board game.
Right.
So, we'll show you how it plays, and we'll be right back. In Run, there are 8 different boards that players can play, and there's 2 sides to each of 4 different things. And when you play, you're going to both play on the same board. So the one I'm showing you here is the beginner board. Each player also will have a very large shield in which you're going to keep everything hidden so the other person can't see what you have. There's also going to be an evidence board placed near here, as well as a console for the runner. Now, one thing I want to talk about this game is that there are ranks for the runner and dispatch. And you can see these ranks here. This is essentially just a way for you to kind of determine how difficult the game is. So if I'm on the runner, I'm at rank 1, I'm going to have more tokens here. So you're always going to get these tokens to move 2 spaces in one direction, move 1, or move diagonally. But this one lets me move diagonally any direction. Maybe I won't have that for one of the ranks. And it will tell you different things that will happen. In the dispatch, it will tell you a couple things that you have an opportunity to use also. And this is going to change. 3 is the basic standard for players to play. Now, at the beginning of the game, the runner is going to start on a numbered space, which is determined randomly. However, the dispatcher is going to know where they're running from. Now, you notice there's buildings here. The runner is going to be jumping on top of these buildings or trying to climb up them with ladders. There's certain spots, and it shows you exactly where they are, where you can climb up in the buildings. What the runner needs to do is they need to go around here and grab 3 gadgets, there's 4, and then get to one of the 2 safe houses. So the runner at the beginning of the game makes 2 moves. After that, they make 1 move. They'll make another 2 moves if they're ever hit. If they're ever hit twice, then the runner, the dispatch person, is going to win. But if the runner can get 3 pieces of equipment and then to one of the safe houses, the runner will win. Now, on the runner's turn, they're going to pick one of these moves here. You'll notice these are silent moves. These are non-silent moves. And when they take that move, if it's silent, they're simply going to put it here to show that they've taken a silent move. In this case, though, it's going to be them moving diagonally down 1. So I've moved down 1, jumping off the building. And so you're going to be playing these. The dispatcher's not going to know what your move is necessarily, but if you ever do something like, let's say I was here and I ran that one, I put face up. So they're going to see what I've done. So you always have to be cautious. They might not know where you are at any given point, but they know what kind of move that you've made. As the runner picks up the different equipment, you're going to take that equipment and put it on your board where you'll have a chance to use it. When you use the equipment, each of it's used in a different way. And there's 4 basic gadgets, but there's more that you can get as time goes by. Like a hook lets you go, from one building to another. A jetpack, you can move in a straight line and jump over buildings, which you might not be able to do normally. The dispatch has a bunch of actions that they can take. Before you take your action, you can move your helicopter to another spot. And then I might use a floodlight, which is I illuminate my space plus the next 2 in the same row or column. So I might go here, and I'm going to say, I think you're there for sure. Or I can just scan all the space in my current row, or scan a column. I won't know exactly where someone is. The runner will just tell me if they're in that row or column or not. But if I use the floodlight, they would have to show me their exact position. If I ever fail on any of these actions, it will say, miss, draw a backup card. You'll draw a backup card, and depending on the number of equipment that the runner has gotten, this can be a useful thing. I just scan my current position and the 8 surrounding areas. So I missed you, but maybe you're right around me. And so these backup cards are extra useful things that the dispatcher has if their main action doesn't work. If the dispatcher wants to, instead of using one of these actions, they can recharge and turn them all face back up so that they can use them again. Now, the whole reason about having the helicopter is you're trying to land the helicopter on top of the runner. Or not necessarily on top of. You can if you have the stun gun or the sonic blast. If you play one of these, you are trying to hit the runner. And if you hit them, they're exhausted. You're going to make a double move. But if you hit them twice, you've won the game. Now, there's a lot more rules. You'll see there's guys here with searchlights. You're going to have zip lines that go from building to building. There are rules for water. And these are all added in. And there's other things that can go. But that's basically how the game is played. You'll go back and forth until either the runner wins or till the dispatcher wins. All right, so this is an asymmetrical game here.
Yep.
Where one person is running and the other person is trying to find them. It's like a one versus many, except it's not a one versus many.
Right.
Like Scotland Yard, like that. And what's amazing about this game is the amount of game that they've packed into this box, I think, is pretty tremendous.
It really is. It's a very good, and it's a quick hidden movement style game. You know, I think 20 to 30 minutes or something is what they say. But it has that good movie feel, which I really enjoy that.
It does. Now, we'll talk about, there's a lot of stuff in here, and I like I'm a big fan of this art. I'm a big fan of the components. They're very sparse, but it makes things easier to do.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, there's one thing I'm not a fan of, and that is they have this rank system here, which there's a tutorial and then play this way and that. And I really wish they had just pretended that didn't exist and say, here's how the game plays. And then have some pages that say, now here's how ranks work and all that stuff. Because what the ranking does is it's going to let you modify it one way or the other.
Level up.
But it's not really that. It's just basically saying how hard do you want it to be for each person. I don't even know that rank is the right word. Like difficulty would make more sense to me.
Yeah, and the way they do
Or
it is
level.
It does make it easier for somebody else. It makes it harder. So the higher your rank goes, the harder it is. Yeah,
it's not a huge deal. It's just that I feel like you'd want to do some of the stuff in here without. I just want you to tell me the base game, and then I'll worry about those ranking later on. And they do that. They're like, you're playing on rank 0. I'm like, well, is that what we're supposed to play on?
Yeah.
And because of that, you learn some rules that you don't even do later on.
Right.
Like the having to tell someone where you are when you move off a certain spot or whatever.
Yeah.
But that being said, you like it.
I really like it. And, I mean, you get the gadgets, and they're very thematic, like the jetpack where you can fly up on the buildings and things like that. And the crowbar, how you can then enter a building and then come out any other place in the building.
Yeah, they're pretty simple things. They're nice and thematic. And there's only a few spots that you can go to. So it's definitely kind of a, okay, did they go that way or this way?
Right.
And it's not particularly complex. I mean, I suppose a dispatcher could sit there for 2 hours and sit there and think, okay, did you go here, here, here? But I don't find it to be that taxing. Basically, I'm like, you went here, here, or here. Which one do I think you went to? Okay, here. No. Okay, now I got narrowed down. That works okay.
I like it a lot. I like that there's a timer, so you can't just sit. The runner can't just sit in a certain area. You've got to complete those objectives as you move forward. But also, I like the fact that if you're the dispatch, and you miss, you get that backup card.
Yes, that's a really cool thing.
It's really good because you kind of look forward to missing. And you're like, yeah. And then further along in the game, those backup cards become more powerful.
Yeah, and you can take the backup cards out a little bit if you want to make it harder for the dispatcher. What do you like playing better?
I kind of like dispatcher. You like the runner, don't you?
I don't know, actually. I normally like the runner, but I also do like trying to figure out where the other person is.
It is. I mean, and normally I like to be the guy that runs, and this one, the dispatcher, is just really fun. But the runner's got the gadgets, you know? And then especially when you know a gadget's disappeared, he's gotten one, it's like, what's he going to use? I do like that system.
And there's advanced stuff. I'm pretty happy with the base game, but I don't mind the extra maps and everything. I think it adds a ton of replayability to the game.
It does. Like in the later maps, there's zip lines, and it gets pretty confusing because you can zip from one to the other, and you're like, if he took that, I have no idea where he could be.
Yeah, but you still can narrow things down.
You can.
So in a lot of when someone's running from you, once they get away, you're like, well, that's it.
Right.
I got a helicopter. I can catch you.
Oh, that's the thing.
I just need to know where you are in this game.
Yeah, you can move so far, and then they're powerful as far as being able to tell the column or whatever. you've got some good abilities there as dispatch that you can use.
To me, this kind of kills the Fugitive. I know Fugitive is just a card game, so you can carry it around and everything. But this is really nice. And this also stops me from wanting to play bigger games. No, like Scotland Yard and things like that with only 2 players. They're a little bulky for 2 players anyway.
I agree.
But now I have a game that's only for 2 players that fits that. There's not many of them.
No, there's not at all.
I'm trying to think, is there any? I mean, besides Fugitive. Again, you could play Scotland Yard, Fury of Dracula. You can play all those with 2 players. But one player has a bulky, unwieldy side.
Right.
Here it's much easier.
It is so streamlined. I really like that. And I still have the action tiles and the recharge. How you get to recharge and bring those out. I love the whole system they put in there.
I'm very impressed with this game. I'm giving it 8.5. I think it's very well done. The components are good. It's easy to sit up and play. It doesn't take that long. It says, I think, 30 minutes here in the box. Or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
20-minute game. And then you're going to probably play again. I think 40 minutes because you can switch sides.
Right.
I run, you dispatch, I run. So, yeah, I like it a lot.
I guess Mike's coming at 8.5 as well. I like mind management. I like things like that. I like this for the 2-player, and I like the leveling up. I agree it should not be in the beginning. It should be towards the end because it does kind of confuse us setting up. But later, as you kind of can adjust that difficulty, I think that's a really nice way to do it. So
there you go, folks. That's Run.
Run.
I'm Tom Vessel.
I'm Joey Evans.
Run.
Give me a crowbar.
What?